Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Jake, this is Nadia, this is Buddy, Sedona is somewhere, and Babu is somewhere as well. Today we're talking about the film Cocaine Bear, and I'm very curious to know what you thought about the Cocaine Bear.
It was absolutely hilarious, I thought. You guys actually are the ones who requested this video. It was a good choice, interesting choice. You're gonna eat while you're watching the film. Eat in the beginning.
No, it's a great movie to eat through.
The kids in the movie are really funny, especially the boy kid. So many ensemble of characters. Although it follows like one family, there's a lot of other characters.
I like that about it. It was an ensemble kind of movie, you know?
Yeah, and it brings like different, like it makes it where the plot is ever going without it being stale like that.
I was surprised how much I was actually into the plot, like with the drug dealers, with pretty engaged. And not just like, show me more Cocaine Bear. I want to see more Cocaine Bear. It was like, this is kind of like engaging.
And the Cocaine Bear was hilarious. It's amazing what they are able to achieve now with special effects.
I thought that there were quite a few moments where it looked pretty bad.
I didn't think so. I thought at the end it looked like the ending where they showed the bear. There was a moment where I was like, okay, this looks very fake, but it kind of reminded me of Polar Express, so it made it kind of like homey for me in a way. I don't know, it just reminded me of it, I guess. I don't know why. I have criticism about like certain characters that I can get into the spoilers. Overall, I felt like the comedy beats like were on point. I thought it was really well made, to be honest, and I wouldn't be surprised if there were sequels.
Build a franchise, Cocaine Shark,
I
Cocaine
can see
Whale.
that.
I was actually, because I saw some reviews beforehand where it was like, it was fine. It didn't go as crazy as they wanted it to for a movie called Cocaine Bear. And I was like, to me, I was going like, this is a studio movie. Like, this is one of Universal's big, there's been tons of promotion. I was kind of like, they're not going to go crazy, you know, with the story. But it did have some surprising moments. It was like a solid script. Like, it felt like it had good through lines for these characters into it, you know. It wasn't perfect. It had, you know, some flaws.
Would you recommend it?
Oh, yeah.
What would you rate it?
7.5. What would you rate it?
8.
Oh, interesting. Pretty close.
Very close.
See, we can agree sometimes.
Well, let's see.
Yeah, I was honestly more impressed. The bear stuff was like, I don't know, the CG was pretty iffy, you know?
It didn't bother me.
You just go with it. But what was the best part, I thought, were the performances, which we can get into, the cocaine plot, you know, the mob people, the mom looking for her daughter. Like, it had some good stuff that really had you engaged with it. So, spoilers.
Oh,
Spoiler. Okay.
I really love the kid in the film.
Which one? Both of them were
the
good.
little kid, or the boy kid. Who goes when he sees the guy die. I really wish I could forget about that, but this kind of seems like the type of thing that will stick with the man for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
It's just really funny.
That was really good.
And I thought it was really funny how the two kid, the boy and the girl, ended up taking cocaine.
Oh my God. I love the scene where they ate it.
Yeah, they ate it. And then I love how as the mom is trying to find the daughter, and then they run into the hiker who lost his wife earlier in the movie. The boy just goes to his backpack and ends up snacking because he's so high.
Funny. I will say the opening scene I was really underwhelmed by with the hikers. It was just I wasn't impressed. I was just kind of like,
well, I think it was building up to it.
It was building up.
And I thought I appreciated that they weren't like going all out in the beginning. I thought it got better and better. Like, I especially love when the detective has the cocaine, and then the drug dealers, they try to get the cocaine from the cop, and then there's shooting match, and then the cop shoots the other guy who's a drug dealer, and then he loses his fingers, and he loses this and this finger basically, and they're like, how did you lose that finger? It's not even right next to each other.
Well, the characters David and Eddie, who couple of the main relationships, I thought that was the most interesting. Also Bob, who plays the detective, but Alden Ehrenreich plays Eddie, who he had a big starring role. He played Han Solo in the Solo movie. You haven't seen him in many stuff lately. He was in the Coen Brothers movie Hail Caesar, but he was really good in this as the depressed guy who lost his wife and doesn't want to be part of the mob and like resents his dad and just like leaves his kid with his dad and everything. And their relationship, him and the guy who's like the drug dealer, he's like, we're friends. Like, no, you're a drug dealer. You're not my friend.
Well, they're friends.
They're friends by the end. And
well, I think they were always friends. He was just like temporarily he was so depressed and reevaluating his life, and I think he was trying to like kind of get rid of people who were associated with his past life and reinvent themselves. And then he realized that, you know, his friend and him were going to be by each other for the rest of their lives in a good way.
They had these cute like little arcs for each of the characters because there are quite a few characters. You know, some of them die brutally and in very funny ways. Some of them die so excessively, like the ranger has a crush on the forest guy. The way her death just keeps going on and on. They get her into the ambulance and then she's yanked out of the ambulance to your face, like getting concrete burn. It was just so over the top, which was very nice. And what's surprising is that I feel like I would want to actually rewatch this movie, not for like any of the set pieces, which there were a couple of fun ones with the cocaine bear, but because the story was actually fun. Like the detective going out there, he has his little dog, you know, that he loves his cute little dog. And by the end, you know, the depressed guy ends up with the dog, and it seems very fitting. And
it does seem fitting, but my criticism of the film is that I didn't like how the park ranger who like, and then also the detective who loved his dog, they were like the ones to die. I kind of wish that one of them had survived, you know? Maybe it's because I'm a big animal lover myself, but it kind of felt like a little weird. Like, I thought it would have been funnier if someone who was a little bit more cocky or didn't care. Like, I think that at the end, people who I would have wanted to eventually die did die, but people who I thought shouldn't have died also died, you know? Animal ranger who was like trying to like educate about the wildlife habitat. I thought it was funny the way they like overly did his character. I thought it was really well done, but I thought he should have survived maybe. I thought that the detective should have survived as well because it really seemed like there was a sentimental story going on where he was like dedicating his career to find this mastermind criminal whom he ended up finding, or more like who found him, you know? And I thought it would have been nice, kind of more satisfactory ending if he had just stayed with the case, and then if they're gonna do a sequel, then he's like
I thought it ended really well. I thought that whole thing with the gazebo and the shootout was really fun, and I like how the only reason they didn't shoot the bear is because they wanted to see what would happen after it took the cocaine.
Oh my god. And I loved how, like, okay, this sounds really bad, but I loved how they like bear like fell on the guy and fell
pretty
asleep.
sure he would get crushed to death. I mean, bears are so heavy.
Oh yeah, that would have never happened. I mean, none of these would have happened.
Well,
but like, I want to say what I really found that was like the mystic part that I was alluding to in the non-spoiler section was how the bear at the end, when he falls and literally breaks his neck, it looks like, and has a bullet, and then literally has cocaine, smells of cocaine, and then
like
sniffs
a superhero drug,
and then like spits out the bullet and then climbs up.
He's a superhero.
Yeah. And then his cub or her cubs also like have the cocaine, and they're all like wild, and it's like very much alluding to the fact that they're more than just bear. They have like super bear powers.
Well,
not superhuman.
That's what I liked about
super bear
it.
powers. Yeah.
They like the movie took itself like seriously. Like it could have been like just trying to do like cheap shock kind of stuff, but it actually was like a good story and like had good characters and fun, engaging stuff going on, and it didn't feel just like a throwaway stuff. And and
I really love that the bears didn't die at the end.
It actually had a wholesome message at the end.
Yeah,
it was surprisingly wholesome at the end. You know, it wasn't. It was like family. It wasn't about a cocaine bear.
Well, if you look at it,
it was about a cocaine family.
It was about the cocaine family in more than one way. There was bear with protecting her cubs, and then also there was the mom who was protecting her daughter, and also her daughter's friend she treated like a son in the film. And so it was.
And ultimately, the bear saves the day because of the drug
And
dealer.
ultimately, the human mom also saves the day, like finding her little baby. So it's literally about motherhood, I think.
It was the whole having the daughter be lost was very like engaging right from the start because you just like, oh my God, you identify with the mom. You're like, she needs to get her kid, you know? Mm-hmm. So that's engaging. And then the stuff with the drug dealers was like funny. And they kind of pick up the guy who's like one of these guys just out robbing people. And I mean,
that was really funny how like the person who ends up like stabbing one of the drug dealers ends up becoming like the best friends with both of the drug dealers. He's the one who ends up like with cocaine bags at the end.
Yeah.
And then he like leaves in this sheep truck.
Yeah. And you could see why you could see why Universal would fund a movie this big and has all these big names in it. Mm-hmm. Elizabeth Banks directing it, you know, is because the script is really good. You feel like this same concept sounds like maybe like a Netflix original or something silly, you know, something that would be made on the cheap or whatever. But you could see why they decided to put the money into it. I will say, Ray Liotta, by the way, I think this is his last performance. He played the mob boss.
Oh, really?
He's a great actor. He died.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so this is his last performance, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, he died. He was in Goodfellas, which you haven't seen. Mm-mm. Everyone bully her into watching Goodfellas. She hasn't watched it with me yet. I want her to see Goodfellas. I do want to say one major critique I have is with the look of the film, especially the final act of the movie. It's dark. And I mean that literally, like it becomes nighttime, but also it looks so horrible. Like the movie looks fine, but the last third of the movie when it's nighttime sequences, so muddy and dark, I could barely see anything. And I feel like the reason they did this is to hide from the CG and to cut costs on CG because I feel like, the last third of the movie has the most of the bears, the cubs, and all of that big action stuff. And I feel like they cloaked it in just this muddy gray dark. It was literally like, we were in a dark theater, great for viewing, and it was hard for me to see what was going on.
No, I didn't think that way. I thought like if we had seen it at home, it would have been dark, but I don't think it was to hide the CGI. I honestly think it's more of a trend right now for movies and shows.
And I hated that trend.
Yeah, but I don't think it was to hide like
I don't know
from the CGI because think about House of Dragons. Like it's like literally 90% of the scenes are like that. If you look at a lot of like shows and movies that came out like in 2022 at least,
most of them drives me nuts. You look at movies like from 20 years ago, they knew how to light fucking night scenes.
Directors have commented, like, they're like, this is intentional because fans have complained about it. And then they're like, this is intentional.
The House of the Dragon people did, but I think there are genuine problems with the way, like, digital film, digital cameras now are shooting night scenes. And I think that, I know that, like, there are low light. So it has to do with like low light sensors and all that and how it captures whatever. I miss seeing like well lit night scenes, and I guess the reason why they don't do that now is because that's a lot harder to do, and it takes a lot more time. But I
also kind of liked it actually because it felt like it was looked more natural.
I thought it just looked bad
because of the.
But I'm not all about naturalism in a movie about a cocaine bear, to be perfectly honest.
I think it's because you didn't do enough cocaine.
Anyways.
Don't do drugs, kids.
Don't do drugs, kids.
We both recommend it. 7.5, 8. Let us know if you've seen it, what you recommend, if you recommend it or not, and what you would rate it.
Yep.
Otherwise, we'll see you next time.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye.